So going back to your story of growing up in the trailer park, were you a bit of a hustler back in the day? Did you have any stories about selling and buying and selling things?
Yeah, so I tell you, my first business my first business ever was cutting grass. So we'd get off the school bus every day and play baseball or football or basketball, whatever season it was, we'd play that, or in the neighborhood, in the streets. This was back when you just come home and streetlights came on, right?
Yeah. The good old days.
The
Even
good days.
I remember that though. That was
Yeah.
a thing for me when I was about
Yeah.
6, 7.
Yeah, playing in the yard. Like you couldn't even come in the house. Like get the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah. It's not dinner time yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I'll tell you when your dinner's ready.
Yeah,
You can come
yeah.
home
You see
then.
that light right there when
That's
it comes
it.
on?
Yeah.
So this old man would pay me $7.50 to cut his grass, and I'm like, hey, this ain't bad, you know. So I start knocking doors, dude. I ended up getting like 5, 6 lawns pretty quick, and my buddies noticed I wasn't showing up, and they saw me pushing, and they saw I was making money. So they didn't want to cut grass anymore. They want to be a part of the business. So I'm like, flip a weed eater to one. One's going to pick up trash. My overhead got too high, went out of business.
I suppose that taught you a lot of lessons about starting a business. So what was your
Well-
kind of next steps?
Well, I was going to say, then you went into construction from what I see. But how did you become a big gun? That's the big difference.
I shut my mouth and I found mentors. I think the best thing a young man could ever do is go seek out somebody that's 30 years ahead of him for 2 reasons. Number one, and I think the most important reason, is choosing the right vehicle. I got that wrong, in my opinion. I think that if I'd have picked a different business model, if I'd have put the same time, attention, and effort into a different model, because let's face it, construction is a rough, stressful, hard industry. It is brutal industry.
I actually say a similar thing, don't I? If I'd have put the amount of effort I put into my businesses into a different
yeah.
area,
Well,
I-
brick
I've
and
said
mortar.
that. I've said
it
that
could
to
be
you. Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can take the same entrepreneur, same skill set, same talent, same drive, put one in vehicle A and one in vehicle B. This one looks like Steve Jobs. This one is bankrupt.
Yeah.
No, I truly believe that. Picking the vehicle is, I think, one of the most important things you can do before you start to use that energy capital in your life, especially when you're a young man. You have that unicorn blood, right?
I went with passion, which was probably the wrong way, to
Yes,
be honest.
I agree. But
I've beat a living out of it and done okay.
Yeah.
But
it's a
obviously,
long grind.
It's a long grind, absolutely long.
Right.
But at least you chose not necessarily a passion, I would say, putting up steel buildings. But
No, sir, it wasn't a passion. It was what was in my consciousness.
yeah.
You know, so that's what I knew to do. It was like, I always joke, it's like the only way we knew how to make doctor money was in boots. You know, and it's true. It's the only thing I knew. I didn't grow up in a neighborhood where there was doctors or lawyers or people that understood politics. None of these conversations were happening in my house. You know, it was about the light bill or whatever else was going on, right? But
Did you find passion in it though? Like you said, you wasn't passionate about it
you can
initially.
get passionate about anything that's making money.
Yeah.
You know, your wrist never hurts when your jumper's on, right? So, yeah, you can get passionate about it real quick. I think what it really happens is that you find where you can be passionate about something. So I believe that business is by and largely a formula. You take out X and you put in Y. You know, I believe I could start plumbing coming tomorrow and be successful. I'm nowhere near a plumber, but I know damn good and well I could run a business as a subcontractor in any trade, because it's basically the same stuff. It's dealing with the men, it's the logistics, it's the contracts. It's like, no, you're not holding 10% retention, you're holding 5. I want net 30 from where, like, it's that game.
It's the stuff that people don't see.
Yes,
That's what
sir.
you're good
That's right.
at.
It's the insurance captive. It's having camaraderie with the men and knowing that you need to take them for a beer. You know, it's the showing up on a job site and start saying, hey, bro, y'all are killing this, and I appreciate it because it's hot right now, and start putting $100 bills in their tool belts. That's the kind of shit. You know, we keep up with our main guys' wives' birthdays. We send them get their nails done. If you're not cool with that woman and you want her husband to go on the road for 3 months, you better have her in your corner. And so you better show her in love and acknowledge what she's going through with her husband being gone on the road for 3 months. You know, it's like those types of things that you end up learning in that process of growing that business. Because if you don't have her as an ally, you are bad.
Yeah. So we've talked about choosing the vehicle and the business, having the knowledge. Yeah. How much do you think luck plays a part in the success of an entrepreneur?
I do think it plays a big part.
Yeah.
But I also think what it is acquiring skill sets and being ready for that luck to happen. A lot of people have luck pass right by them and they never get to, you know, cash in on
And
it.
they're the ones that say, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
You go,
Yeah,
hang
yeah.
on.
I
you
get
had that,
frustrated with that,
you had
yeah.
that opportunity last week and you blew right by it.
You have
son.
to take the
and
shot
you didn't
to get
even
the luck.
see it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you ever see Michael Jordan do a reverse layup under the back? How many times do you think he's done that? You know what I'm saying? He knew just how to spin the ball,
Yeah.
just where to go. He's done that a million times. His skill set got him close enough, and maybe it was a little lucky that maybe he got the role, but how many times has he put himself in that position? And then you start getting a role, and then it gets to a place where your luck turns into making, like, because then you start to build capital. Then it's just common sense decisions, right? Like when I see Amazon trucks on the road all the time, I'm like, yeah, like I don't know how they're doing. I don't know if they buy them or rent them, but I'm like, yeah, it's an obvious decision to get your own trucks. Like, so once the business starts to get rolling, then you have like common sense decisions you can make. Oh, they started this division. Well, no shit. You know, like I would have done that
course
too.
they did,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course they did. You know, so it's the momentum. I always say about business, I think I read this somewhere. It's like starting a business is like trying to go and get like a carousel going. You push it and it's heavy. And you're pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's not even going anywhere. And you're pushing and pushing and pushing, and slowly it starts to go. And then slowly you can kind of jog with it. But then at some point you get it to where it's spinning, you're stepping back and just slapping it. And it's just
Yeah. Off it goes.
boop, boop. Yeah, start another one. You know?
Yeah, and that process of actually starting and running the business changes your mentality, because I know Dad used to always go around looking at all these different businesses and going, oh yeah, that's wrong, this is wrong. You know, he's analyzing every business.
That's good. I'll
Yeah,
have some of that.
sometimes that's
Yeah.
good. I take that little bit. So I think, yeah, it's a certain thing. It switches your mind when you build a successful business. I was having a disagreement with someone the other day. It was my uncle, actually,
I was
wasn't
going
it?
to say, was it me?
No, it was my uncle, and it was about a very successful individual. And I said, if he got all of his money taken away, I reckon he'd be able to make it back really quickly, just because of the knowledge he has. And I think people don't value knowledge enough nowadays.
1,000%. I tell you, that's one of the most freeing feelings in the world. I tell people if they're worried or wondering if they've gotten it right yet, ask yourself this, because I always say, you could strip me down butt naked, blindfold me, and drop me in any city of America, I'd be hanging still in 6 weeks. I have zero doubt. It would be like zero doubt I would be doing that.
Because that's what we say about the guys that made it big on crypto. You know, they've made it big, but they haven't learned any lessons on that path to making it big, have they? They've just suddenly gone, whoa, we've lucked out. I'm the master of the game.
And it can't be repeated now because
Can't
the
be
climate's
repeated.
different.
Yeah, can't be repeated. So
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, man. It really is. And you know what I always say about that? Every generation generally will look back at the generation before them and kind of with a bit of disdain. But every generation gets a new set of opportunities that create this new set of problems. And when it comes to crypto and some of these online business things, a part of me, even though I'm saying I picked the wrong model or I could have picked a better model, I'm kind of glad that I went through that, because I think it made me the person I am. And the next wave is always coming, right? And so I'll be able to take that capital and the skill sets and maybe the maturity that you would bring into a business and be at a completely different place when that next huge opportunity comes. I'll have that with me, not because I caught a crypto pump, because I built a real business from dirt. And I'm very, very grateful. I used to say, I used to always joke, I was like, I'm asking God, why this business? Why? I want to quit so fucking bad. In fact, I quit, but then I'd go to work the next day, right? You know, and that's something I'd probably accredit you for too, because one thing that you could probably speak to is there's a huge power in staying in the same game. Because it's almost like you're getting in a fight, right? You take a jab, oh man, boom, you take a jab again, cross now, you know, and then you slip the jab and then you uppercut, whatever it is, right? But then if you quit that because you were getting beat up too much and then you go fight a southpaw, you're going to take all the licks in that industry, all the licks, and then you're going to have to rebuild all the connections. So I think there's something to be said about at some point saying, okay, after this, I'm staying here. I believe in this model. I'm going to see this out through all the blood and all the scars and everything. I'm going to come out on top. And then once you water that tree enough and it starts bearing fruit, then buy some crypto. Then you know, do this other business or try this other thing or build a brand or all those other things. I wanted to build a brand for a long time, but I wouldn't let myself until I had M's in the bank.